Woo, we're live. Hey everyone, what's going on? So, boom, let's get into it. This is going to be a good conversation because I already know, because I have my notes here. I wrote a lot of notes, and I also just am somebody who's obsessed with personal development. Um, so, if you're coming in this live, you probably want to give some advice on how to become more disciplined because you've done that yourself, or you need more discipline. Either way, we need both opinions. So please comment any questions, comments that you have about discipline before we get started, and I'll definitely answer them throughout the way. So I got a request to do, I think, this topic because I've done it before on the channel in a video, but I like to have the live feedback from you all while I'm talking. And somebody had already said, this vid came right after my university exams finished, and I did so bad. Well, it's never too late. And I had said on my story, on my IG story, when I had posted this reply that no, it's never too late. I don't think, because there will always be things that we need discipline from, and it's like a everlasting journey of discipline. So again, when you come in the chat, like drop any questions, drop any um, comments. So we need like both sides feedback on this whole discipline thing because this is going to be a good conversation. Gonna try to keep it under 1 hour. But yeah, I have a whole lot of notes that I wrote. And I wanted to share also this book that I'm reading currently, and it's called The Slight Edge. I have an eyelash in my eyeball somewhere. It's not super annoying though, so I'll keep going. So this book called The Slight Edge, I think I've probably talked about it in a couple of videos, maybe one or two. And this book like really outlines, makes it clear why some people are resistant to change, or why so many people like know what they want in life, but they feel like they can't get to it, and then why other people succeed. It's basically it creates a very thin line between like why people succeed and why people fail. And essentially it's just applying little things, tweaking your mindset a little bit, but by little daily disciplines though. um and out of reading that book, I've learned that discipline isn't really necessarily like having the motivation to do something. It's more so of a belief, which we'll get into. And sometimes it's a lack of like belief in ourselves just because of the outside world influences. When we think about how much information that we take in, just like this is the age of information, and we love to consume. Um, I started learning how to not consume as much media because honestly, a lot of our brains are just being hijacked. Let's be real. We're allowing our brains to be hijacked by Hulu, Netflix, which is entertaining. But if you ask the average person, have they read a book since high school, they'll probably say no. Like 85% of people, when they graduate high school, they don't read a book again. I'm sorry, graduate high school or college, like they don't read a book again. And it's by choice, by choice. And if they do read a book, it's like an entertainment book. So like people love to consume, but to be entertained though. So like that's why we love to consume the news, the social media, and it's not, most of the time it's not for our personal development. It's not stimulating the brain in a way that we're learning anything new. And that's kind of like one of the main things we need to change when we're talking about discipline, because these little things, very little things, if we bring awareness to them, they can really make a huge difference. There's like a point A that we all are at currently right now. And then there's a point B that we're looking at that we know that we want to get to. And again, I'm talking about like the Slight Edge book here. There was a part where it described the point A where you currently are versus the point B where you want to be at. It feels like a magnet in between those 2 points. Because point A is where you're sitting at and you're kind of like comfortable there and you're like kind of like in a settled position. And it only takes a leap of faith to get to point B, but the more you sit at point A and don't do anything, that magnet feels so intense. It's like this is gravitational pull pulling you toward point B, and we can either do one of two things. We can take that leap of faith to get us to point B, or we can have so much self-doubt in our mind that it's like we neglect even wanting to get to point B and tell ourselves that we're more comfortable settling at point A. So, yeah, again, if you're coming into the chat, love you too, Paul. Oh, that's nice. I love you all. If you're coming into the chat, bring your questions, bring your comments. Um, I like to think of like there's like two sides of the coin here. There's people who probably know a little bit about being disciplined. Put your comments in there, and then there's people that like really need to be disciplined. So um, I'm gonna go ahead and refer to my notes. So the first thing I noted is that fear and self-doubt are the main killers of discipline because uh, fear and self-doubt are things that are learned. They're not natural. Think about babies. And this is why I feel like there's there's this thing about like having a childlike heart that we got to get back to. Think about babies and their ability to navigate the world with so much confidence. Babies don't doubt themselves. When a baby is learning to talk, like no baby has ever said, "Oh, every time I try to babble something, I end up just saying goo goo gaga." So maybe talking isn't for me. Like babies know that, okay, my mom and dad know how to talk, so I must be able to do these type of things too. So it's not until we get into a place of kind of like growing up that we hear no's, a lot of no's and a lot of self-doubt from the outer world, and we learn self-doubt and we learn what's it called? Uh fear because of the outside world. It's not a natural thing for us. And then also, babies don't know that if you put your hand in fire, then you'll get burnt. So it's kind of like we learn through our observations and also our experiences. Um, so also I talked about in the beginning, like what are we feeding ourselves? And this is like the most crucial thing when we talk about discipline. Um, and like I said, our minds are like being hijacked basically, and we allow it to happen because we love to be entertained. But how many times have we kind of like picked up a development book or something that is adding to our life instead of just making us feel just making us laugh? Not that those things are bad for us, but the amount of consuming that we do, we could be replacing some of that Netflix or Hulu or like reality TV with a TED Talk, or I like to watch documentaries, something educational that's adding to who we are as a person, and just honestly feeding us positivity. I think that motivation and discipline are often used hand in hand, but they're not the same because motivation is something extrinsic can motivate you to do something. Like I think of a dog. Like how do you train a dog? You train a dog with treats, and then you reinforce the good things that the dog is getting, um, and and you reinforce the dog with treats, and the dog keeps doing the same behavior. So that's motivation. Now, drive is something different. Like, drive comes from within. And I think when you have drive that doesn't come from any reward that you know you're gonna get outside, it makes you move a little bit differently. How do you get drive? It's like what are you doing the things for? Like what is your why? Um and Yeah, I think it's like how you are energized to feel like to take action. Um, yeah, drive energizes you. Motivation kind of like the only energizes you for a little while, but overall it doesn't like it doesn't last. Okay. Okay, so negative things that we repeat to ourselves. I like to think of our mind as like a fish bowl or something that like a fish tank. Okay, something that filters out things. So water in a fish tank, knows how to okay, if you have anything about uh discipline, leave it in the chat. And anything else we can cut that out for later. But if you have anything about discipline, let me know, please. So yeah, like fish in a tank, their water gets filtered out. Imagine that our mind is like holding that water, and we can decide what to filter in or keep out. And so, if we're every single negative comment that we hear, we're deciding to replay it in our head over and over like a tape recorder. Our thoughts are just on replay, like on repeat all the time. Um, but as soon as a thought comes into our head that somebody else said, like, "Oh, are you sure you want to start that YouTube channel? Like, the way that your work ethic looking, I don't think that's gonna work out for you." And then we repeat that in our head, like, did they just say that? Like, does that make sense? What has my work ethic been? And I mean, it's okay to like ponder it for a second, but like after a while, if you keep repeating it and repeating it, you kind of like gotta catch yourself because our mind literally is like a tape recorder. And then eventually, once you keep repeating it over and over, it's going to get stuck in your head. And then it's going to be part of your like essential philosophies. So, what negative things are weighing us down for us to be able to take action? Think of like those negative things as like a paperweight. And a paperweight like holds the paper down. But like if you take that paperweight off, the paper is gonna be light as a feather. It's gonna like float everywhere. We can sometimes like we just feel like weighed down by like the negativity, and we don't realize that negativity weighs us down and so much. So something that I like to do personally is I just like to cleanse my mind of the things that I realize are distracting it. And this takes some awareness of the things in the first place that are distracting you. Um, and the reason, again, why you want to get rid of distractions is it's only the things from the outside world, like things that comments that people make that kind of like throw you off, that kind of like make you rethink yourself. That keeps us from being disciplined because I don't think discipline and motivation is like um a thing of like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. It's like a thing that negativity or negative mindset is keeping you from being disciplined. I don't think discipline is actually something that we have to work hard at because, like I was saying in the beginning, a baby doesn't need discipline to learn how to talk. Like, no baby ever has said to themselves, man, I've been crawling all this time and I be trying to walk, right? But like every time I try to walk, I fall on my booty. So maybe walking isn't for me. Maybe I'm just crawl the rest of my life. No baby has ever said that. And that's because from birth, we know like that anything that we think we can do it. And then that's just it. So again, like discipline, it's a natural thing. Like we think that it's something that we have to learn, but it's no, it's something that we're returning to. We've always known how to have discipline. It's just like a negative mindset that we've developed from listening to outside things and replaying them that makes us think that we need more discipline or need more motivation. It's natural. Like it literally comes natural. We just have to get back to this place of like childlike thinking. And I think that's why, there's this like, I mean, it's in the Bible about like having a childlike heart. You know what I'm saying? I think that's there for a reason. Because children, they're like the most pure and they know themselves the best. So, okay, boom. To get rid of this negativity, what I like to do is I just like to um, cleanse myself, rid myself of all the things that I know are distracting me. Number one, these will be hi. These will be, and again, if you're just coming in, um, drop a question about discipline or like something that specifically that you might want to know because I might not go over it. Or if you have any like comments about discipline or something that you're specifically working on. So right now, I'm actually not watching any Netflix, Hulu, or I'm not even watching any YouTube videos, and I'm doing that for a whole month. There's other things I'm doing too, but as far as watching what goes in my mind, those are the main things that have had kind of like have me help me captive for the last couple months. And I had to realize that like I'm not as in control of me regulating what I watch as I think I am. So sometimes we think that excuse me. Sometimes we think that like we're oh, I'm just gonna get on Instagram or I'm just gonna get on TikTok just like to check my messages or something like that. But like we end up being on there forever. Like five 5 minutes turns into 10 minutes turns into an hour mindlessly scrolling, and it's mindless. So sometimes you just have to reset your brain by deleting the app. Like delete the app. Don't even like tempt yourself with like look at it. Cause what happens um with that is like the way social media is set up, it's like it feeds our dopamine levels in a faster, more what's that word? Like it seems more efficient for our brain to consume shorter content where we get information faster and quicker. And that's just how technology works. So it literally feeds the part of our brain that is like that reward system that makes us want to keep scrolling. And so it becomes mindless instead of mindful. So that was one of the things I had to do, but more so with like watching TV, like Netflix shows and Hulu shows. And I was watching Love is Blind season 2 and 3. And then I was watching like the Married at First Sight, which wasn't as good as Love is Blind. But well, I only watched like one episode. But um the fear of missing out on like I don't know like shows or movies can keep us from wanting to cut out that distraction. And then again, sometimes we think we can regulate it on our own, like okay, I'm just going to watch one episode, and then it turns into two and turns into a marathon. So sometimes we just got to cut it out. I just had to cut it out for a month. And they say like once you do something for like 21 days it becomes a habit. I really believe that because each time I do like a cleanse, like a social media cleanse, it ends up being a month long. And I realize how much I don't need it and how much is like not serving me. Again, it's like I feel like it's hijacking our brains, and we gotta I said like rid ourselves. I'm looking at my notes here. I said like we gotta rid ourselves of the distractions of the matrix to stop your mind from being hijacked. So yeah, definitely. Feel free to join me on that, like cutting out. Another thing I'm cutting out is um right now I'm not listening to any music with lyrics. And that's one of the things one of my friends came up with. She's probably not watching, but shout out to my friend Anaya. She did that one time, and I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Because music with lyrics, sometimes we don't know what they be talking about. They be talking about some stuff, and I'm not talking about you know what? I'm just not even gonna say it. But they be talking about some stuff that it's like hidden. We don't even know. It gets deep. Like we have no idea what they be talking about on some of these songs. Um yeah, definitely feel free to join me on any of those things. Yeah, so You use the timers for the apps now. Yeah, that's a good one. Or like set like a bedtime or like a with like a bedtime thing on your phone at like at a certain time, your screen goes dark so you don't see your notifications. You turn your notifications off. Thanks, Serenity. Yeah, I think I have a gift for kind of like saying what's in my mind and like kind of like making it plain. Because a lot of us are thinking these things, right? But we just need somebody to kind of like reiterate it so it can be, you know, solidified in our minds or what we're going through, like our lived experiences. I'm off from all social media except for YouTube. That's great. Yeah. So with it's interesting because I still post on YouTube like throughout the months. Y'all probably have not seen me like not be consistent on YouTube, but I do take breaks from watching YouTube videos. Like I haven't watched a single YouTube video in about 2 weeks, which for can be a can feel like a long time. And that's difficult because I still post on YouTube. I'm on YouTube live streaming right now, and like it's difficult to like see what all's on your homepage, what all the people that you follow on YouTube are doing, and not click on a video. Yes, it's Kismet. I think that's how you say it. It says they also keep their they only watch shows that keep them happy or like comedy. And yeah, that's a great thing to do, honestly. If you are watching something like, man, I have this thing about scary movies. I really think that scary movies has a hold on our society. I don't understand. I've never understood the thrill of scary movies. One time, one time, oh my goodness. I wanted to see Insidious Chapter 2 with my brother and my cousin because I thought I was a big kid and I wanted to be, I wanted to be grown. I was like 12 when that movie came out, I think. No, I had to be like 13 and uh yeah, I couldn't sleep for a week. But I think some people are more sensitive to that type of stuff than others. But I'm a huge believer in eyes on the windows to the soul, right? So like when we come to even going back to like discipline of the things that you intake affect you everything, and it's negative things, even like things that scare us or like that stuff like elevates your cortisol, your stress hormones. It literally changes the body chemistry when you're watching. Your pupils can literally dilate. I mean, it's literally, yeah. So that's good. Keeping your shows just a comedy and stuff. Hi, Maury. Welcome. The brain is a muscle. What you choose to avoid when it feels hard to do strengthens. Exactly. I know that because of meditation. I'm a meditation teacher, by the way. I have a I'm actually doing a community chat, live community chat with my members this evening at 7 p.m. a little bit after I get off this chat. So if you are looking to like strengthen your mind muscle, that's exactly what we do in the meditation, holistic fit meditation membership. So look at joining that. We have live stream calls on Zoom every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we journal together as well. We're going to share our journaling experience tonight too. So yeah, maybe look at joining that. Yeah, lo-fi music is awesome. Yeah, be mindful of your algorithm. Definitely. Cut it out permanently. I can never go back. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you just got to cut things out permanently because again, like we think sometimes that we can like regulate things, but we can't because it's too much of like a temptation that we just got to cut it off. Mare said I was sick for 4 months, couldn't be productive, and was on bed rest. Now struggling to get my mind back in the groove. Glad I found you recently. Well, it's a blessing that you are healing from that, Maury. So I'm glad about that for you. And I'm glad that my content is inspirational and helpful to you. Yeah, that's so nice. I love Saw. Yeah, Saw's not like really a scare. It's not like really a scary movie. Not to me. It's kind of silly. All right, you gotta guard your subconscious mind. Yeah, no witchy gory stuff. Your subconscious mind is so important. And then we're gonna get back on topic of discipline in a little bit. But oh, do this with me. Hold out your thumb, whichever finger you want. I mean whichever hand. Hold out your thumb and then stare at your thumb, right? What do you see? You see your thumb. Your thumb is in focus. But then look at everything in the background that's blurry, kind of like, when your camera's on cinematic mode and your phone camera. And then okay, now you can release. So when you're staring at something, our that's like our subconscious and our conscious mind. So our conscious mind is like staring at your thumb, and your thumb is in focus, but your subconscious mind is everything that is in the background. You know how much is in your subconscious mind? You know how much is in your peripheral vision right now? There's only a little bit, maybe only your conscious mind is only less than 10% of this picture. My thumb is only 10% of my peripheral vision. Your peripheral vision is so huge, and your subconscious mind is so huge, and it's on autopilot. So we're operating on autopilot 99. No, I mean, probably that, but at least 95% of the time, we're operating on autopilot because of our subconscious. That is huge. And I learned that because of the Slight Edge book that I'm reading. The Slight Edge. I love that one. Yeah. The brain is 3 pounds. That's interesting. It's hard for me to stay disciplined when I get bored easily. Any advice? Oh, that's a good one. So why are you bored? I mean, oh, this is a good one. I was gonna get to this later, so I guess I'll get to it now. Everybody has something that they want to do. So like the reason why we're bored, or the reason why we don't feel like we're making any progress is because we know there's something that we want to do or need to do, but we're not doing it. So what is that thing? Like, and there's a couple of questions that I also wanted everybody kind of like ask themselves. Boredom. Okay, so I'll be honest. I'm a workaholic, so I don't get I don't get bored often because I don't give myself a time to be bored. Um, However, I know that like why you're bored is like a perception. Two people could be doing the same exact thing. One could be bored and one could be just chilling. So maybe it's just that you have a lot of free time on your hands that you could fill with productive things or things that allow you to grow. Um, and it's also a issue, something that you can add is being in the present moment. So the other day, I actually was bored, and I was actually like giving myself an hour of silence without technology. So I couldn't get on my laptop, no phone, no anything else. And that was one of the hardest things to do. I used to be able to do that a lot, but I was bored. Actually was bored. And so what I did is I stopped and thought. I was like, wait, hold up. There are so many things in my room that I haven't paid attention to or like given thanks to. So there are some pictures on my wall here that I painted, and I just went over to the paintings and started like being happy for the paintings. Like I was like, I did so good on these paintings. And I was just like paying attention to the little fine lines on the paintings and just like giving thanks for the painting. And something so small, or like looking at a book that you haven't read since you were younger, or I don't know, just bringing your attention to something that you don't really give thanks for. You walk past it every day, you just don't notice it. Um, but boredom comes out of like I feel like not being in the present moment. Like there's so much happening here, so much that we can be thankful of, so much that we can kind of like bring our awareness to and just be in awe of. And you might have to like kind of like use your imagination, but come up with something to be thankful of. Write down some um, some things that you would do on your free time if you had the choice. And I feel like it's interesting when we're always busy, we're always thinking to ourselves like, "Oh my gosh, if only I had the time to do this, I would do it." But then when we get the time, we don't do it. And then maybe we like lay up in bed looking at Netflix like, "I'm bored." But it's like when you wasn't having no time, you said you was gonna have some time to do something, but then you don't. So it's like it's also a thing of like being satisfied with the present moment. Because I feel like whatever we're doing, we're never satisfied. Sometimes when we get the chance to do something that we don't do when we have time, we're not satisfied because we're bored. But when we're always busy, always on the run, when life is actually exciting, because I see that as excitement when I'm always having stuff to do, it's like, oh, some people will see that as I don't have enough time to do nothing. So it's like, what are we actually asking for? Like sometimes when we get the exact things that we ask for, we're just never satisfied either way. So it's finding time, finding peace in the present moment, being satisfied by noticing the little things that we're thankful for right now and just moving on from there. But um when when I was thinking about like things that you want to ask yourself when you want to get clear about where you want to be, is one of them is, why do you want to be disciplined? Know your why. So what is it that you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? How and when do you want to accomplish it? Excuse me. A lot of us have things that we know we want to do, and we can see it in our head and we can visualize it, which is good. But then there's there's a real big gap in between where we are currently and where we see ourselves going. And that gap sometimes seems too big for us to close it on our own. So we just don't even try. And that's where the lack of discipline and lack of motivation comes in. They go hand in hand because we don't want to try because it seems too big. So we can just settle, right? We just settle. And one thing is to get super clear on what you want to do, why you want to do it, and how you're going to do it. So we're talking about goals. Let's say that I'm a farmer and I have a goal to have 10 new species of plants on my farm flourishing by the summertime. Okay, I know I want to do that. That seems kind of far. Okay, how? Like, what do I need to start doing now to get there? Well, I probably need to educate myself on what type of species of plant is good to harvest in the winter time so that they can be ready in the summer, which is probably like 5, 6 months. I don't know anything about farming, honestly. Okay, so that's how I'm gonna do it. Okay, when do I need to do these things? Well, I probably start need to educating myself now so that by the time February, March comes around, I can start planting them. Okay, so what tools do you need to do that? Oh, I'll need like that little tractor joint. I'll need like probably a hoe, the little ground hoe. I'm gonna need some tools. Okay, and when do you want to accomplish your goal? So it's like the when you really sit down and write these things out, when you have a plan for what you want to do, it makes it so much easier to be disciplined in doing something because it gives you yourself more accountability because you have a clear plan. When you have a clear plan and you can actually see the exact steps to get from point A to point B, it's like there's no way that you can't hold yourself accountable because it's so clear that you have everything planned out. The easier it seems to get from point A to point B. So it's like, why do you want to be disciplined? Other things to ask ourselves: what results do we want to get? Do we want from the work that we put in? So, what results? Like, do we want more free time? A lot of people want that. We want more freedom. Maybe right now you work for somebody instead of putting in labor to build up your own dream, you're working to make somebody else rich. You're working to put all the money in somebody else's pockets and only give you a little bit, which is most 9 to 5 jobs, which I'm not knocking, at all. I mean, I work kind of like a part-time job on the side too. And everybody does that, like starting off, almost everybody. But we can sometimes realize that like building up somebody else's dreams is actually building up our nightmares because we hate it because it doesn't feel like we're free. So maybe you want more freedom out of your life. Maybe you want more free time. Everybody wants more money, right? But like it's not actually that we want money. We just want stability. We just want like emotional stability. We want mental stability. We want better relationships, personal friends. We want better physical health. Because why do people even get a job? It's not because they want money, because money is nothing but a piece of paper, but it's that you want good health coverage, right? It's that you want good health care. Like when I think of like main reasons people go into the military, it's because they want to provide for their family. When they have a family, they want to get good health care. They want to be like secured in I mean, other than serving our country, of course, the country of the US, if you're from the US of A. Um, they want a place to live. Like, it's not even about what materialistically you want because it's so we got to go deeper, point blank. And then what corresponding goals will get you there? Oh, this is a good one. What exactly is stopping you? We all have something that we know is stopping us. Like, what mindset do we currently have that's just invading our thoughts? Um, Maybe what people around you are invading your thoughts. What little pests do you have in your life that are whispering little stuff in your ear? I like to think there are like two different people. There are the people that are like the givers. They give light every time they walk into a room. It's like, ah, like they give light to people. And then there's people that when they come into a room, they suck the life out of you. They like drain the energy and the flowers in the corner start wilting a little bit because they kind of like leech onto negativity. And the more you get closer to your working on yourself, the more you can discern who these people may be in your life and decide whether you need to cut them off or hold them at arm's length. But that's one of the biggest things that we need to do, honestly. And it's more of us that need to do that than are aware. More of us that need to do that. Um, for some people, that person is the person who you're in a relationship with. For some people, that person is your best friend. For some people, that person might be a really close family member who you live with, or just somebody who you feel like needs you or you need them, which can get very complicated. Um, but that's just real. That's just real. Are you prepared for challenges? I just started posting on TikTok a little while ago, actually just on Monday. So if you don't follow me on TikTok, follow me there. It's the same as my Instagram name, Lauren Rainey, my government name, just not without the dot. So follow me on TikTok. However, I will be posting in a little while this little snippet I talked about how I don't know a lot about basketball, but I do know that Michael Jordan did not make his sophomore basketball team, his sophomore year of high school, because they said he was too small. And then 2 years later, he grew 4 inches taller, and then the rest is history. And so, like, he in those 2 years, he probably had enough time to like get his dribbling game right. You know what I'm saying? Like he had time to build up his skills, but somebody would see that as a fail. Like, I didn't make the basketball team. I love basketball and I've been working hard on this. But then sometimes the things that you fail at, they're your biggest successors, because the thing that you wanted to do, that wasn't the thing for you anyways. There was a bigger thing that you had to do. So you had to fail at something in order to succeed at the thing that you really needed that was for you. So sometimes a failure mindset can get in our way. And what are we prepared for? Are we prepared for like challenges along the road? Big one. A lot of people feel like they lack discipline because there's a big gap between them seeing where they want to be and them taking that action to get there, because they're afraid to do the wrong thing. Like, okay, I have the time to do it, but what if I do it wrong? What if there's some more information that I could gain before I do it, go out into this field so that I won't mess up? A lot of us are afraid of failure. A lot of us are afraid of messing up. And I'm just here to tell you that you can have all the how-to information in the world and all the information on how to do something right. But either way it goes, you're going to have to course correct along the way. Like, even if you do every single thing right, there's going to be course correction, whether you want it to be or not. So, when a lot of us are afraid of just like taking that leap, it's like we, we're better off taking it sooner than later, because the sooner we take it, we're going to learn more so along the way what we need to do to course correct. And we're always going to be course correcting. So don't be afraid of that course correction. And then this is kind of like my last kind of like tip that I have. It's realizing that everything in our life correlates with each other. This is the holistic part of life. All right. So there's your physical health, there's your happiness, your relationships, your personal development, finances, big one, your career. So if you're lacking discipline in one of these areas, if you're lacking discipline in one or two of these areas, most likely you're also lacking discipline in all of these areas in some way or shape. Because when we look at our life, all these aspects of our life correlate with each other, because it's a holistic, we're flowing holistically over here. So all of these holistic aspects of our life correlate with each other. If you are doing pretty well with your personal relationships with your friends and family members, if you have good communication skills, and if your finances are looking up, then most likely your physical health is going to be well, and maybe you possibly even like your job. However, if your room is always messy, if if you're not taking good self-care of yourself, and if your personal development, your personal relationships with other people aren't the most positive, it's really likely that your career is going not well, your finances are on the downslope, and your physical health is declining. Like, either way you look at it, one or two of these things are going up, the rest of them are going up. One or two of these things are going down, the rest of these things are going down. So if you're like, okay, like, how do I gain discipline and like making new friends? Well, maybe you need to work on your physical health and paying more attention to it. Maybe you need to take more self-care. Maybe start like I don't know, like cleaning up the room more often or paying more attention to like how you present yourself. And then all other things will fall in line. If your finances are looking down and you don't know how you're going to get out of like a hole of debt, and you hate your career, maybe think about reading a personal development book or watching a TED talk or watching an audiobook, um, watching a documentary, maybe cutting out some shows or movies that are distractions like on Netflix or Hulu, maybe cutting out entertainment that isn't adding value to your brain muscle. And then your personal relationships, your finances, and your career can get a little bit better. That is so crucial because sometimes we're like, where do I start? Start with those other things, and then those things that you really want to target will fall in line. So yeah, this conversation was good. I have no other notes. So if anybody else has any other questions specifically about discipline, I would love to hear about it. But I do plan on doing a video soon about how I stay disciplined in like some just random things that I do every day that you probably haven't heard of how I gain discipline that you may want to try. I'll just share one of them with you now. Excuse me. Um, One of them is I take cold showers in the morning. Now I take hot showers in the evening at the end of my day to relax my muscles. But in the morning after I practice my yoga or do or walk on the treadmill, I will take a cold shower. And I mean like kind of like ice cold. Not no lukewarm, like a cold shower, even in the winter. And when I started doing that, I was scared. Like, but then I realized if I can take a cold shower, I can face any of my fears, honestly, because that is not for the faint of heart. Okay. But honestly, the first 30 seconds is the worst part. Once you get past that, it actually kind of feels warm and fuzzy. It's like a paradox. You get in the cold water, but then afterwards, it makes your body feel warm and fuzzy. The reason why is because it actually helps you burn more fat. So yeah. Uh, oh, oh, my laptop. My laptop is about to die soon. So, um, Kenneth says, "Well, so true. Is what weird just talking to somebody about the same topic. People very bored and to me being like that is dangerous. I try to use my time wisely still on my journey." Yes, exactly, Kenneth. Exactly. I think boredom, when boredom strikes, it's like a thing to look out like it's like a thing to look out for. Okay, like why are we bored? Like how can we be in the present moment and um change our way of thinking about boredom? Because probably not that we're, again, like two people can do the same thing. One says they're bored, the other says they're just chilling. So like, are you bored or you're just taking time to chill? Yes, cold showers boost your immune system. They have a lot of benefits. Let me look them up right now. Um, Cold showers, they help. I know for one thing, they do help boost your metabolism. They can help you have a higher state of alertness in the morning. So I usually wake up at 6 a.m. every morning, except for on Thursdays when I teach a 6:30 a.m. yoga class. So I have to wake up at like 5:15 a.m. Um, They can help reduce inflammation. They can actually help relieve joint pain as well, improve your blood circulation because it actually makes your blood vessels dilate. Um, so when you take cold showers, actually your body kind of like feels itchy all over, and that's because your blood is it's like going where is it going? It's going back to your core, back to your heart because it does it raise your core temperature, I think. Yeah, something like that. And because it raises your core temperature, that is, or your basal, no, core temperature, that's how it is able to help you burn fat. So athletes or people who are trying to get quote unquote shredded, maybe you might want to incorporate cold showers into your morning routine. And also, athletes take ice baths, so it makes sense. And they can reduce fatigue as well. So cold showers have a lot of benefits. That's why I take cold showers in the morning and then take hot showers in the evening, because it just goes with the natural rhythm cycle of the body. Because if you think about it, if you wake up depending on what you ate last night, depending on like a lot of things you did last night, your body's going to feel tired, groggy. Even if you get a lot of sleep, sometimes you even wake up in the morning still feeling sleepy. That's a sign of other imbalances in the body, but cold showers can help you like wake up like that. So yeah, before my laptop dies, I just want to say that thank you for engaging in this conversation with me. It was a great conversation, and yeah, look out for the next one. If you have any other conversation suggestions for what I should talk about on live stream, or which we should talk about on live stream, let me know. Comment on any video. Feel free to, again, check out my Holistic Fit meditation memberships. They're in the links of like my last couple of videos. Then go to my website, holisticfitmeditation.com. And I'm starting to put like little clips of it in my videos. So go ahead and check it out. We do guided meditations every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, live stream on Zoom. And then we also do community conversations. I'm going to do our community conversation actually at 7 p.m. tonight. So yeah, I hope that you all have a great rest of your evening. She said, I'll have to start off with lukewarm because I'm cheating. Yeah, I mean, a great way to do it is like, start off with like, warm, and then slowly but surely bump the temperature down. That's what I used to do in the summertime, slowly but surely. Thank you. Appreciate all of you as well. Peace, love, and joy. And I'll see you in the next one. Good night.